website's called Write Three Books in 24 Hours. It's all there in
Yep.
the name, but what is the concept and what were you trying to accomplish?
Well, at first, when GPT-5 came out, I'd been thinking about this idea for a while. I fell in love with reading and writing when I was a kid.
Hmm.
I always wanted to be a writer, but never really had the dedication or probably even the skills, even though I have an English degree and worked for years as a tech writer. Uh, and
Or
also
maybe the
never
time. It's
really the
super
free
time consuming.
time, right? It's
Yeah.
extraordinarily time consuming. And so I just never did it, and I live with that regret in a way, right? And
Mhm.
so when GPT-5 came out, I was also starting to use Claude
Mhm.
models as well, and I started thinking, I wonder if it's possible to create like a domain-specific language for
Mhm.
an LLM to generate long-form fiction, because everything that I had read, people had tried it, and you know, it
Mhm.
it, it just it goes awry. Doesn't
Mhm. Yeah.
doesn't go very well, especially for long-form fiction.
Yeah, and
Little
I've tried
small,
it, and if anyone follows me on LinkedIn, you can see I've posted before like my best attempts, and it is
uh,
really hard to do.
short stories maybe,
Hmm.
but long-form fiction, especially across. My goal at the time was figure out whether or not I can use the APIs in the model to build a story memory that will allow me to generate the prose that would produce just a readable series of books.
Hmm.
Maybe science fiction or fantasy because I'm a fan, or maybe multiple mysteries.
Hmm.
I didn't think it would be possible, but I thought it would be a good learning experience.
Hmm.
I'm a software developer by trade. I'm a software architect by position, and thought, well, this will
And I think,
be. Go ahead.
well, tell me, Tyler, is the reason it might be impossible is, especially if we're talking a year ago, the context window on the AI tools was short enough
Yeah,
that if you put a 300-page book in, it just wouldn't work.
yeah. Even now, the context windows are not that big.
Yeah.
They're getting bigger, and with GPT-5, the context window became 128,000 tokens. So like,
Okay.
okay, maybe it's possible, but it was still doubtful.
Hmm.
Started building it, started experimenting with it. Started out as just a rough and tumble kind of console app that was not built for other people to use, right? And I had to do a lot of prep for the inputs and manual work, and I shared it with so the results with a few friends, and
Hmm.
every time it would get better, I would share it. And I actually would share it with my wife. She was my best critic because if she loves to read, she reads voraciously,
Hmm.
and if she didn't like something in the story, she would tell me and blame me for it
Hmm.
and get upset with me. And I was like, hey, it
That
wasn't
was
me.
me.
It's
Yeah.
AI. It's AI's fault.
Yeah.
But that feedback loop was fantastic. Anybody trying to build anything like this needs a feedback loop. You can't do it in a bubble.
Hmm.
So when I generated a series that she enjoyed and I only had one complaint about, I knew, okay, maybe this is possible.
Yeah.
Shared it with a few friends, and they were like, "Oh, I want to use it. Can I use it? Can you give me a copy of the code, and I'll use it."
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, maybe I don't really want to give this code away.
Yeah.
Maybe I
That's
should build it into a product.
hmm.
So did that with write three books, and we did a shortcut URL, so it's easy for people to get to 3in24.com. If you can't
Yeah.
remember how to type the whole thing, go to 3in24.com and we'll redirect
Okay.
you.
Nice.
The reason we chose 24 is the initial versions would take 12 to 16 hours
Hmm.
to create uh, three books.
Hmm.
And I knew that could scale. I knew there would be some parallelism that could be done in the cloud and so forth, but hadn't focused on that until I started building it into a product.
Hmm.
Um, and being the geek by trade that I am, I started working on figuring out how to do that, and it's now down to between about 2 and 4 hours,
Hmm.
generally on average.
That's great.
There's some parallelism that can occur. Um, every time I make changes, I'll modify that a little bit.
Hmm.
Built the product, released it in December, and had a few customers, a few people that I knew.
Hmm.
one fellow on LinkedIn that I'm connected to, and he created a hard science colonization of the moon story, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And after he got his books built, he sent me a message and he said, Tyler, got some problems. First of all, some of my characters know they're in a book because they're talking about
Oh,
things that happen in book one and book two.
that's funny.
Right. So it kind of violated that fourth wall of the interior universe of a
Yeah.
narrative, right? That you can't have your characters do that unless, I don't know, maybe you do it intentionally because it's
Yeah.
farcical, right?
Hmm.
But most people don't enjoy stories where the characters break the illusion of the
Hmm.
reality in which they live, right? And then another problem was that some of the characters on the moon were weightless, and the moon actually has gravity.
Oh, I see.
So going back in and reworking things to create narrative consistency,
Hmm.
which some bibliophiles like to call diegetic consistency. That was a new word for me, learning that through
Uh,
studying how to actually fix this, right? And despite the fact that I've been a word nut my entire life, that was a new word,
well, and
diegesis.
people might not know. So I used the tool last night, and so I
Uh-huh.
just before I went to bed, I just started it on my concept, and then when I got up this
Right.
morning, I had the email. The books were done, and so I've
Yep.
downloaded them, and I've read parts of book one, and it reads like it's read by or written by a human. Like it's fantastic. The only
Yeah.
thing the only thing that's a hallucination is I didn't give it any information about the author, so
Uh-huh.
it guessed who I was for the author blurb.
Sure.
But in terms of the actual novel, people should know that these are 300-page books too. This is not like a short
Right.
story or something. And
Right.
it's is definitely the best tool I've seen to do this. And like I say, I've tried it a lot. I've written books myself, and I've tried to use AI to create them. I've
Yep.
created before I posted one that was like 80 pages and okay, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is really good. Um, I know there's secret sauce you might not want to talk about, but I have to assume the AI is just looping through the manuscript, doing hundreds, thousands of revisions for consistency, right?
No, actually,
Really?
so I mean, I'm not going to give away too much of the secret sauce because most of the
Yeah.
secret sauce is in all of the prompts and a
Yeah.
series of a large lengthy series of three books will
Mm-hmm.
run 250, 300 prompts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it runs in stages. So it builds out essentially what most authors would call their story Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And it builds it in such a way that it's kind of like a shorthand for LLMs. It's not superhuman readable. I mean, you can read certain phrases and so forth, but how those pieces of information are labeled wouldn't really make sense to most people. Even most authors probably wouldn't recognize sort of the nuts and bolts underneath it. But
Mm-hmm.
we go through all of that. We do a first pass to generate the prose.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do a diegetic analysis of that to make sure that we don't have any inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
Then we do a final revision, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways that we do it we're able to get the time down to 2 to 4 hours, sometimes less,
Mm-hmm.
um, and get the quality up to where it is.
Yeah.
The rollout that we rolled out this morning, and if you go back and want to try it again, if you want to try it again, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome to. You can, for the one that you finished, you can create a clone of that, and it will upgrade. It will create a new project, and it will upgrade to the new version, which gives you a lot more control over all of the underlying pieces, worlds, characters, just so many details.
Mm-hmm.
Most of those details are hidden behind, collapsible partitions in the forms. When you print it out, a nice, pretty picture, you'll get a 30 to 50 page document that
Okay.
covers everything that you can control. And once you have that, and to what you were saying, maybe you'd want to go back and change some things about the author, the style, the voice, to get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different style of prose, and it's very good at this, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, and when you do create that copy, you're able to say, oh, this is an unrelated copy, or this is a sequel, or this is a prequel, or
Hmm.
this is a story that happens in the same world in a parallel time, just parallel time frame, same time, but maybe different characters. So it
Hmm.
will import everything it knows about that world that you created and
Hmm.
the storyline and the plots and the characters and all of that.
That's interesting.
It allows you to modify it so that you can get a different story, but in the same place, in the same milieu, as the French
Yep.
would call it. The
Yeah.
all the same world, right?
That's interesting.
Which is exciting because then if you have a let's say you have a serial mystery,
Hmm.
sleuth, and you like, oh, I've done three mysteries, all different cases, and
Hmm.
now I have three more cases for him to do. I just
Hmm.
want to import all of those characters and all of that, and I'll go change it. And within that, now you have little AI helpers that will give you ability to, oh, I want to change this world in this way. So you can just describe it, and then
Hmm.
it will fix all of the data for you, or you could
Hmm.
go in and modify the data yourself manually. So a lot of
What do you-
power, and yet reduces all of the friction that might occur if someone came in and said, I don't know what any of this means.
Yeah. So there's on the easy end, there could be people like last night, basically ChatGPT knows me really well because I use it a
Yeah,
lot. So I just said, what type of book would I enjoy? And it specified, and it nailed it. It was great.
right,
So I
right.
put that in, and then I went full automation, and your system just created the trilogy. And you know what? It is really on point. It is really a book that someone
Yeah,
else probably wouldn't write that I really enjoy. I'll post it. I'll have a link on
right.
this post so that people can go see it on Gumroad if they want or whatever. So
Yeah,
there are going to be customers like me who are just creating a vanity project, like the book I want to read.
sure.
And then there are going to be other people who are like, wow, if I can modify details, I could have overnight a series set in the current event. Like right now, we have
Yep.
conflict going on in Venezuela. That could be the setting for a series of books that people can buy tomorrow. Are your customers mostly people who are creating them to sell or just for themselves?
No, I think most of our customers are just creating them for themselves. I think
Mm-hmm.
most writers who pursue writing as a career
Mm-hmm.
do it for the art, not for the end. They do it
Right.
because, sweating through the details and hammering out every single character on the keyboard is
Mm-hmm.
important to them. And I respect and revere that art. I think
Yeah.
it is an art that is slowly going away. And I would love to reignite some of that. So I think a lot of our customers will think, well, I can't be a writer. I don't know how to do this, but I have great ideas. And so
Mm-hmm.
they'll generate a set of novels, and then they'll read it. And like Hemingway or Ray Bradbury or a number of other authors
Yeah.
learned their craft by actually just copying by hand the books
Mm-hmm.
that they liked. So
Mm-hmm.
they could learn the process, the techniques, and understand, the structure
Yeah.
that their ideas can fit into.
Yeah.
So I think there's that possibility, but I also think there's just an awful lot of people that don't see themselves as a writer. They'd like to
Mm-hmm.
entertain themselves, maybe some of their friends, maybe they have a D&D group that they meet with once a
Yeah.
week and they have a
Yeah.
world they've created, and hey, we could create three novels about the world that we've created, and we
Mhm.
have all these characters and we have all these different things that have happened and all of our games. We could add all that detail in and suddenly be reading one of our favorite genres, which is in most cases is going to be fantasy for those guys, maybe
Yeah.
science fiction.
And if you're writing for yourself, you could populate it with, a few years ago, people had self-published books for the first time where you could insert your kid's name in the storybook, for example.
Sure,
But you could
sure.
have a book that you write for the family reunion where everyone in the family's in there. They might not all like it, but you're not publishing this, so it's okay.
Well, yeah, it could be even funny. You can choose narrative modes like, humor, and you can choose multiple narrative modes now in this new system that we just rolled out. And
Hmm.
I had one guy ask me, could I write this as a parable? Could I have this as
Hmm.
maybe a morality tale? Okay, so we added a bunch of narrative modes and so forth that give the model guidance on the type of prose that you want, right? So you
Hmm.
get what you want, enjoy it yourself. I have one series about a character that I dreamed about while I was in the hospital in India,
Yeah.
8 years ago.
Cool.
I don't know if I'll ever share those stories. It's
Yeah.
really, really enjoyable, and I'm enjoying reading them.
Hmm.
And to me, that's worth it. I mean, I
What
believe
what
that.
about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Would this work? What if I wanted to learn like level one Spanish? Could I say just structure a story but embed in it lessons about Spanish? Because I want to be entertained by a story, but I want you to teach me. Would the or the AI do that?
I have not tried that. That would be an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
A number of people have asked me, "Well, are you going to do translations?" And I was like, probably not. When I tackle another language, which we will,
Yeah.
I want to learn as much about the genres in that particular culture and language,
Hmm.
and I want to structure prompts so that it will produce books that someone native to that language and that culture. Spanish, you're going to have multiple different cultures. You're going to have a European Spain Spanish, and you're going to have South America, maybe several different. Germany probably just one. Russia just one. Multiple others. I would
Hmm.
love to be able to have folks come in and say, I want a story of this, and they can type it in their native language and pick the
Hmm.
language that they want and the culture that they want, and have it generate a story that is aligned with the styles of the authors that they're used to reading and enjoy reading in their own culture.
Hmm.
It's a little deeper project, so it's probably going
Hmm.
to have to wait a little while, but
Yeah.
yeah, that opportunity is exciting as well. The biggest,
Well, another one. Oh,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just
No,
saying the biggest thing that excites me about this project is and some people have asked me, well, will this just replace publishing and writers? Like, no, no, that's going to stay the way it is. I don't see that changing. But there are millions and millions of people who have great ideas for stories,
hmm.
and those stories will be lost
Hmm.
when they leave this world. And
Sure.
I would love to have even just a tiny fraction of those stories rescued so that their children, their family, and their friends and others can enjoy them. And maybe they publish them. Maybe they push them up on Amazon and
Hmm.
20 people read it and enjoy it.
Right. Right.
Great.
Yeah, that's the long tail. And I think what people don't understand is if you're an avid reader, so when print on demand came about in 2003-ish time frame,
Right.
people said, well, there'll be an explosion of books. It'll be crazy. But I always felt like readers are underserved. There should be a book on every conceivable topic. If I want to go find a book, it should
Right.
be there. And then finally, with a tool like this, you could actually do that.
It really democratizes creativity. So it
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't remove creativity. It just lowers the barrier to entry
Hmm.
for those who either they're afraid or they don't have the time or they don't have the skill or all three.
Hmm.
And so the stories that live in their head and their heart, they've carried around, maybe their parents told them or they experienced part of this story and they'd love to tell it in a sort of a historical fiction sort of way to kind of, protect the innocent and
Hmm.
accuse the guilty or whatever it is that they want to do. They could
Hmm.
do that, right?
Hmm.
And so that's what excites me about it. To be honest, the reason that I built it as a product so others could use is because as I used it for myself, I found it rather addicting.
It's
Like
super fun. Yeah.
it is very, very fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, good. And I've wondered from a business perspective, I've wondered, will there eventually, I'm sure you have many features to think about, but will there eventually be a button and now it integrates with 11 Labs and I can get an audiobook version? Will there be a print on demand? I print and now it prints off a book. But what do you think?
Yeah, I've been exploring 11 Labs and Speechify. Both of them are very good. I like both of their mobile apps. I actually have paid subscriptions to both of them, and they're very good. So even now, you can use this product, download the Word files, and have your favorite text to speech reader read it to you. Not all, but a lot of people love to just listen to the book. Well,
Mm-hmm.
buying an audiobook or even spending the money to produce a distributable audiobook is kind of cost prohibitive for an individual. It could cost you anywhere from, depending on how you do it, anywhere from two to $10,000 to produce.
Correct. Yeah.
So individuals are probably more likely to use this tool, generate the stories that they want to hear, download the Word file onto their phone, and just let the app read it to them.
Hmm.
I found Speechify is really great. It better in some ways than 11 Labs. with the exception of sometimes it gets a little wonky on dialogue, whereas
Mhm.
11 Labs presents dialogue kind of in a straightforward, flat way. Um, there are APIs that one can explore to enable building an audio book that could be distributable, but
Mhm.
they're expensive right now.
Mhm.
One of the directions that we want to go, and a couple of friends have fed me this idea, and maybe others will beat me to it, but we're now in a world of scrolling past, and the attention span is maybe 2 to 3 minutes on a video at the best, right?
Mhm.
So with the new rollout, we've made shorter books available, just 10,000 words up to 150,000 words now. So you could choose your length. Maybe you want a novella, and then use uh, GPT or Claude to convert it to a little screenplay.
Mhm.
Split that up, and there's a number of upcoming apps that will take a little screenplay and it will actually generate a video from it, a video clip.
Oh, interesting. Yep.
So eventually, I would like to have that available to a group of users who say, "Hey, we want to participate in generating a story." Kind of the old-fashioned way, which was, when they serialized novels in newspapers.
Mhm.
So once a week, you get a new chapter or two or three new chapters, right? And it asks you some directional questions, and everybody in the group gets to vote on it and say, "Yeah,
Oh, that's
let's
fun.
do this, do this, do this," and then we get the next chapter, and at the end of the week, you also get drops 5 little 2-minute video clips that you can put in your social media and share with all your friends. Here's my story emerging and reason to come back to my channel every single day to see how this story evolves, whether that's in
That's fun.
animated or AI realistic or semi-realistic generated video.
Mhm.
Don't know where that's going to be, but the tools are not quite there yet from what I've been able to find. I think within about a year,
Mhm.
people are going to start running with the solutions and building out some really cool tools so that storytellers, story builders can convert those and bring in the attention of the scroll past it generation, right? And then if some of those say, where did this come from? How did they do this? And it weeds them back to generating a full set of novels and gets just a few percentage points of those people reading novels again and
Yeah.
excited about going to the bookstore or the library and checking out a book. That
Yeah.
would be a win. That
Yeah.
would be a big win for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
it does seem like far fewer people, like kids today. I mean, my kids have done well in school and everything, but they're just less likely to delve deeply into books the way that prior
right.
generations did because there's so many
Yeah,
other things you can do, so many other ways to get
that's right.
attention. But
That's right.
maybe the problem is that the material hasn't just been compelling enough. And if it's custom like this, if you can do some new, interesting, and maybe unique
Y-
things, maybe it brings them
Right.
back.
Right. And if you just pick up a book in the library, you're not invested in the story. It's not your story. It's not your idea.
Hmm.
But if it was your idea and you want to see how it comes out, how all the details play out, I think that's a compelling reason to read where some people maybe wouldn't be interested in reading someone else's novel. They might be more interested in reading their own.
Yeah. In the future, do you think it'll seem strange to people that in the past, in our time, that writers were a very small minority group of society? They were writing all the books and the rest of us were reading them. That could seem crazy.
Maybe, or it will be sort of like the people who watch Bob Ross videos and do their own paintings
Yeah.
versus those that we revere, like a Picasso and
Oh, for sure.
writers that have been venerated because they are very, very good. In
Hmm.
some cases, they're relatively good, but they've been marketed very, very well,
Hmm.
or whatever combination of that is. And we enjoy the fruit of their art and we
Hmm.
value it in a
Yeah.
way that we might not value someone else's sort of paint by numbers painting. But the
Yeah.
person who did that paint by numbers painting is very proud of it. They put it in a frame and it's on a
Yeah.
wall in their house. Nobody's ever going to pay $1 million for it, but it
Hmm.
has intrinsic value to them because they did it. I think
Hmm.
the same thing is true of creativity boosting tools like 3 and 24. And there, I'm certainly not the first. There are some competitors now coming out to this that I've noticed. But the one thing I've consistently noticed about any of them that I've checked out so far,
Hmm.
none of them publish on their websites for free the results of their product. And I have
Right.
27 full-length novels that anybody can go to on the website, look at the samples, and see exactly the quality that you'll get. Full
Hmm.
three, three books in every one in nine different series across six different genres.
Hmm.
Because I'm proud of that, and I really enjoy it. Enjoy reading those, and I
Yeah.
think if I enjoy reading it, it's worth showing off.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. And like I'm excited to read the rest of my books I generated on there. And if anyone wants to try
Right,
it, you can do your first book for free. So someone can just go there and check it
right,
out as well. But
yeah.
the I think it's a really good idea that you're doing a trilogy. It is fun for a reader, period. But for people who are self-publishing, like if you're self-publishing on Kindle or something, the conventional wisdom for novelists, I believe, is if you want to sell a lot of copies, you should do a trilogy. Like people want to get hooked to a series.
People want series. People, if they like an author, they want to see their next work. And the research that I've done on the indie market on Amazon KDP, most successful authors publish every 3 to 6 months,
Okay. Yeah.
which is a pace that is not sustainable in the regular, traditional publishing world. Because
Right.
there's all
Yeah.
kinds of things that have to happen in that traditional publishing world that can't be done in that time frame.
We have people like Stephen King was Richard Bachman as a pseudonym because he was putting out too many
Right.
books. The publishers didn't want too many
That
books out
that's
there,
correct.
which would be less of a problem today. So you
Uh,
know that. Oh,
Yep.
go ahead.
Nora Roberts is the same. She
Yeah.
has several pen names.
So you obviously love books and love authors. So do I. But some authors are going to complain about any new AI tool right now because there's all this
Yep.
anxiety about will they replace us? What do you say to them?
Technology always creates a sense of threat for a lot of people. It certainly did when cars came around for buggy makers, and yeah, they went out of business. But most of them opened up their own auto shop.
Mhm.
So, and I also think that we will never tire of enjoying writing from authors who follow their craft the way that they do now. I don't think we're going to eliminate that. No matter how good the AI gets, there's a
Mhm.
certain amount of soul, of spirit that is invested into traditional writing. And I also think that I actually have one customer right now. He reached out to me personally. We started a conversation just via the support email,
Mhm.
and he was really struggling with his first book. He wasn't. It was just not well written, not well structured. Wasn't sure where to take it, and so he's going to use 3 and 24 to generate the same idea and get an idea of, oh, okay, it could be done this way,
Mhm.
and use it as a way of teaching himself and then going back and finishing the book that he really wants to write. And I think there will be some aspiring authors who use this tool to generate something that they can learn from that is in a style and an approach that they want to mimic in their own writing. And once they learn enough, they'll set the tool down and they'll go write their own stories. They'll submit them to be published. And like most authors, they'll get 85 rejections or whatever before somebody finally picks it up and publishes it. That's a pretty common story. Most authors who want to follow that path probably will never be published. And if they are, probably will not ever become a bestseller. Like the road to becoming a bestseller is one of attrition where millions start and three win.
Mhm.
And we're not about that. We don't really want to participate in that world. We want to basically rescue the stories that will never get written because people don't have the time or they're afraid to or they just don't know how.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if we can do that, I think we win.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thanks, Tyler. It's so
Yeah.
interesting. Great business. I love the product. The if people want to find you, 3and24.com is
Yep.
best place to go. Just go try out the product right now. It's fun to do. And then they can find you on LinkedIn. Anything else they should do?
Um, you know, just experiment with it. I mean, the first book it's free, so just kind of get wonky, get a little crazy, and experiment with it, and see what you get. And that'll give you kind of a basis when you come back and say, okay, I'm ready to give Tyler some money. I'm ready to get serious about this. I want to do something more.
Mhm.
This is another reason why we wanted to give the first book away for free, because the first one is kind of always an experiment. Like, what does this do? How does it work?
Mhm.
What will I get for what I put in? And that's a process of fun discovery. And I think when people do it, they'll get excited about it and they'll come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, thanks so much, Tyler. It's been
Thanks,
fun
Dave.
talking to you. Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it. Bye bye.